Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where we've got the final two games of the Premier League to bring you today. We are currently fighting actually for 4th place. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place in the Premier League are currently separated by 2 points. Our final two games of the season, we play 7th and 8th place teams. Yes, there's been some dramatic developments, I'll get you caught up. And I'll start with the table, in fact, because there are a few key developments as I just alluded to there. Firstly, Spurs have absolutely bottled it with their games in hand. They were 3 points behind with 3 games in hand. Now on the same number of games, they're still 3 points behind. Classic Spurs. We have very much benefited from the capitulations of Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea to a degree as well, along with Manchester City. Newcastle, another big winner in all of this. In the meantime, as they've continued to actually do quite well in the league. They were, in fact, knocked out by Manchester City in the Europa League. But ourselves, Newcastle and Everton have all benefited from the fact that Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal have all dropped major points in the last 3 game weeks. Everton did lose to Manchester United recently, but Man City lost at home to Aston Villa. Newcastle had a 7-1 victory over Sunderland in the meantime. What a time-weird derby that is. But Wolves beat Arsenal, Liverpool beat Chelsea away, Tottenham beat Chelsea. They've all played each other, which has also helped as well. But Leeds beat Liverpool to keep their own survival hopes going. Burnley drew Chelsea. Brentford beat Spurs. And Newcastle beat Arsenal, part of why Newcastle are still up there. So the big teams have faltered. And now we play 7th and 8th to finish the season. Yep, league-defining games, as I suspected they would be. But as for our 3 games, we lost to our old nemesis Wolverhampton Wanderers 3-1. Eric Avalos getting a corner goal. Bit of a novelty. Be nice if he started kicking on getting more of those now. But Carlos Eduardo with doubles in both the Leicester games and the West Ham game saw us beat both of those. There is one highlight in this Leicester game that you do need to see. It's around the 55th minute. This might actually be it. And it's a moment that consigns Robert Sanchez to his fate as a backup goalkeeper next year. It's actually marginally earlier than the 55th minute. It's this moment here as Robert Sanchez comes for the ball and then doesn't come for the ball and then... Thankfully, they missed a wide open goal, but we were deserved winners of that match. How that wasn't like 1xG, by the way, for them, I have no idea. But we play Everton first. Manchester City played Burnley at the same time, so we would be expecting them to get 3 points. Burnley now actually safe as well, so they don't need to fight for this, annoyingly. If we win this match, we effectively secure Europa League. We are currently full strength. I did rotate out Ampadu and Avalos for both of the Leicester and West Ham games just to stave off that jadedness. Ciro Fernandez, I think, also took a step out during that period. So hopefully their jadedness will not return for either of these remaining 2 games. Sanchez in goal, Martin, Avalos, Ampadu, Tibero, Hesham and Markovic. Trying them that way around because they for some reason hate each other the other way round. Praza in front of them, Fernandez, Eduardo and Prieto. It is full first strength. Markovic needs to buck his ideas up, actually, and I will have a word with him. Word has been had, off we go. And there's your confirmation, Ampadu, Avalos and Fernandez back in the team for this one. Whilst we play these last 2 games of the season, we'll have a little bit of a chit-chat as well, as Everton actually have a highlight immediately as Calvert-Lewin's at the back post and somehow doesn't score. Good to see our old friend Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But I'm in an awkward spot in terms of what I'm rooting for here, because I kind of don't want the Champions League. Everton with a chance here, although... Singo on this right-hand side, Calvert-Lewin taps it in. Couldn't have been easier if he tried, because he's ahead of the defender and somehow not offside. It's a good challenge by Ampadu, but of course it just goes straight to the Everton player because that's how Football Manager works. And Calvert-Lewin must have been in line with Avalos and then just somehow was a pace ahead of him when the ball got to him half a second later. I'm not fully certain Calvert-Lewin's movements there. It might be a case of the animation having him more offside looking than he was actually in real life or in the real engine. Aaron Martin, Hesham, Tibero is in. How is Avalos on the 7.2? He's directly at fault for that goal. Anyway, Tibero doesn't actually get anything from that highlight. But as I was saying, I don't know if Champions League football is what we want. I reckon we can go deeper into the Europa League, and more importantly, Europa League opposition in the group stage will allow us to rotate Prazert equalisers. Europa League opposition in the group stages will allow us to rotate better, because if we're getting... Barcelona's and PSG's in a group stage, then either we rotate and sack it off entirely, or we go full strength and try and get something out of it and try and, give a good account of ourselves in the Champions League, where we will absolutely be a 4th seed. We might still be a 4th seed in the Europa League because of 0 European coefficient. But you're more likely to pick up teams that you're going to be better than, regardless. Solanke is, well, clean through here. I don't know what happened to the defence. Thankfully, it is the classic dominant Solanke and not the Solanke that appears in Football Manager normally. Markovic gathers that ball and then just does a 360 and allows himself to be dispossessed. But we've got the ball back again. Tiberio plays it forward to Prieto, and that's fantastic footwork from the pair of them. Prieto, Godfrey clears. Aaron Martin puts the ball back in again. No one's there to deal with that. Tiberio now. Markovic gives it away. Concerning. Dele Alli. This highlight's gone on forever. Michaelenko. It's going to be a chance for them, right? Because this has gone on forever, and now, yep, there we go. Solanke's in. Solanke's missed again. Prieto aiming at Avalos and Carlos Eduardo. One of them's got on the end of it. Carlos Eduardo has. Corner goals at last. Only took us 2 years. Prieto. And it is Avalos who does attack the ball. I can't believe it's taken us this long to get consistent corner goals from 2 6'8" men. When I say consistent, it's still only like 3 in the last month and a half. As we take the lead here back at the Den. And of course, if we do get European football, Millwall fans will be pleased because we're still in this stadium for another year. Brand new Exeter Stadium, who I forget who it's named after, but it's not called Exeter Stadium, thankfully. We'll be ready at the end of next season. I'm not sure if I encourage or praise at this point because we're not really on top of this game, despite the scoreline. And Man City only winning 2-1 against Burnley at this point. Carlos Eduardo at the back post once again rises highest, as he should do. Markovic with a clean opportunity to aim that near post. Decides to smack it somewhere in the middle, and naturally it gets blocked. Prieto, though, corner result. Eduardo didn't even jump. 19 jump reach, didn't bother to jump. This highlight continued. No, thankfully it stopped. Now, the interesting thing is, Markovic on a 6.9, Hesham on a 6.7. I've only seen bad things from Markovic in this game. He's coming off. Actually, I'm going to bring them both off. Angelo and Mansley will take over in the central midfield. Ciro Fernandez at the back post hits the post on the opposite side. Now, the third choice for a substitute here will be either Thierry Small for Aaron Martin or someone for Prazert. In fact, I don't actually have Martin Saunders on the bench, so I think Thierry Small will come on for Aaron Martin. Get Thierry Small a few more minutes. He does have a tiny bit more of space to develop into. He's, now of an age where he's not going to develop that much more, but Mansley clean through from Angelo there. The two substitutes combining. Mansley should have done better. Mansley, I swear, is right-footed, so I don't know what he did that for. As we do actually take a commanding gap in the XG table now. This game probably should be 3-2, so if it finishes 2-1, valid. And actually a somewhat highlightless 2-1, weirdly. Chelsea, of course, didn't have a game in hand, so none of Chelsea, Liverpool or Arsenal can actually get into 7th. But it will be a straight-up final day shootout between ourselves and Manchester City for 4th and 5th. Of course, the 7th place European spot will go to the league because we play Spurs in the FA Cup final. And we are effectively guaranteed Europa League at worst from the league at this point anyway, even if Newcastle win and we don't, is a huge turnover there regardless. But of course, we can effectively be no worse than 6th now. Why have we not been given EC2 here as barest minimum? Why have we not been labelled with something at worst? That's weird. 100 grand is a ridiculous value for Joe Gelhardt. He's not good, but Rangers have just offered £105,000 for Joe Gelhardt, which seems like an absolute bargain. He's not great, don't get me wrong, he's 2.5 stars, but still, 105 grand is ridiculous value. That's the man that should be going for several million. Now, this final day encounter for Chelsea is effectively a dead rubber for them because they can't be any better than 8th, but they can be as low as 10th. And there's a sort of minor pride at stake for Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal here not to be the worst of those three. It's been a bizarre season. Arsenal won the league last year, and now they're maybe 10th. And the one team that we do have to pay the most attention to, Manchester City here, they've got a Fulham team that aren't going to roll over because Fulham need to win their game to not be relegated. Their rival to relegation, Leeds, play already relegated Sunderland, so it'll be intriguing to see how that one pans out at the bottom as well. A lot of dead rubbers in the middle table. Of course, Man United, West Ham and Sheffield United, Spurs, worth paying attention to as well, although Man United effectively have won the title because of goal difference. Can't believe Spurs threw it away, though. They have 3 games in hand. I say I can't believe Spurs threw it away. It is Spurs. We take out every competition apart from the Premier League, though. You can see what happened. They hilariously beat Man United. But after that, they had 1 win in 7. 4 draws, 2 losses. I don't know why it says our task remains simple. If we draw a match against Chelsea, we qualify for the Euro Cup barest minimum. I think the implication there is 5th because the game doesn't register the fact that the FA Cup is between two teams that are going to get Europa League football regardless. Now, Taberio just took a knock on the run-up to this match. Avalos is suspended for this game, but that will be the only change. Castillo will come in at right back, and the rest of the team will not be any different. And it's a little weird. Oh, Ballard, of course, as well for Avalos. But those will be the only two changes. It's been a bit of a weird season because I was going to be using the more defensive version of this formation against teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, the big boys. And I ended up not really doing it because we'd end up smashing them just as often as they'd end up smashing us. The game's been playing in the background, 18 minutes in, and Ciro Fernandez has been injured, which is fantastically bad news. I'll actually bring Martin Saunders on there just because he is left-footed, and I think that'll be of greater benefit. Castillo throws it to Prazert. But you saw, we beat Spurs 4-1 away from home. We beat Man United 2-1 away from home. We beat Man City 6-1 away from home with this formation. We didn't do the defensive one. Actually, I tell a lie, we did change for Man United. But we didn't for Spurs, we didn't for the Man City FA Cup match, and we have scored here. Castillo, Prieto, off the post. Goalkeeper makes the most of it, Prazert. Prazert capitalises. Prazert quietly collecting goals in the very latter stages of this season, by the way. Scored last match, scored in the 6-1 against... I think he scored in the 6-1 against Man City. He scored in the 5-all against Arsenal. Hernandez with the all-important extra-time equaliser. Ballard, Aaron Martin, Prazert, Esham, Carlos Eduardo. And actually, worth saying, in regards to extra-time winners or equalisers in that case, this is the first episode I'm recording since the European Championship final. So, annoyingly, the Monday episode will not go out with any congratulations, but, a little bit belatedly, congratulations to the England women. What a result that was. And I genuinely actually cannot wait to see the women's game in FM. Don't think it's going to be the next one, but I would not be surprised if SI are trying to advance their schedule on that one to try and capitalise. I did notice that next year's FIFA cover will include a women's player for the first time. So I don't know how in-depth the women's game is going to be on FIFA next year, but that would be interesting to follow as well. But we're going to this break 1-0 up, and good value for it, I believe, actually, as well. Yeah. Chelsea not even anywhere a sniff in this game so far. I say that as they have 2 shots almost immediately. I never know what to do when 1 goal up. Even if you're playing well like we are at the moment, it doesn't feel like a praise moment. Markovic has been booked. Hesham has, both of them have been booked in fact. Hudson-Odoi still at Chelsea somehow. Prazert. Hudson-Odoi I think is better than people give him credit for, but in the game he's not that good. So I'm actually surprised he's still there. Reece James though, not surprised. Ballard, Prazert, Hesham. That's a very valid point. Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, none of them are going to have European football next year, unless one of them wins the Champions League, because Man City are in the final of the Europa League, and Carlos Eduardo scored another corner goal. We are finally getting them. And actually, assistant manager with a good choice shout there. Meanwhile, we'll actually also praise them following this. But another corner goal from Carlos Eduardo. What we've been wanting. But yeah, none of those 3 are going to have European football. And Chelsea, for Chelsea, it's been a few years, in fact. They were quite bad last year. They looked like they were going to be just about there this year, but they've fallen off at the very end as well. So Chelsea players might be ripe for plucking for European purposes, especially if we get Champions League, which it looks like we might be doing with this 2-0 victory. I'm less happy about Champions League than I am Europa League. Prieto scores a 3rd. Chelsea are woeful. I was kind of hyping this up as being a big European decider, but then Chelsea decided to be rubbish, and we're bloody fantastic. Mansley came off for Hesham. I swear the advice was Markovic. I just realised. I'm actually going to bring Toussaint off there, because I am going to bring Prazert off, who's played well, but he is the most tired, and he's going to come off for Angelo. Oh no, we made us... Never mind. We had an injury early on, didn't we? That's my bad. Chelsea have been absolutely terrible. Maybe they've already been raided. They've got Schlotterbeck at left back, but I'm eyeing players like Tonali there. Kovacic goes close. This is what I'm saying, the Chelsea team isn't actually that fantastic, looking at it. They do have players like Soyuncu there, though. Mason Mount was playing. Havertz, of course, is fantastic. 28 now in his prime. God, he'd be fantastic. And they do have new gens like Reg Minter, who I thought would be better by now, actually, at 20. This is a player that Chelsea beat me to. I just remembered, Miguel Angel Hernandez. Oh, no, maybe not. They did actually buy him for 7 million. Chelsea beat me to a player who was a free agent. Thought that was him, but apparently not. Oh, this is it, Martin Gindra. I say free agent. I think this might have been who I was thinking of. 50 grand. What a ridiculous player for 50 grand. But a rather straightforward 3-0 victory. Yes, the injury. Brentford and Newcastle drew on the final day, so that was irrelevant. Man City did beat Fulham, so Fulham do go down. 5-1, it was emphatic. Okay. For English football, that was actually the best result possible overall because Manchester City play Gladbach, I think, in the Europa League final. So they probably should win that, which will give, obviously, 5 teams in the Champions League. And more importantly, another English team in the first seed pool. But Chelsea, because they lost that, end up bottom as Liverpool and Leicester draw as well. So Liverpool don't capitalise. Arsenal, the ones to capitalise, end up 8th. But still, obviously, no European football for them. I think this is the first time Newcastle have actually ended up in the European spaces in the league in about 5 years. 4 weeks for Fernandes, that's unfortunate. He will. Oh, budgets have happened already. I was concerned the budget was going to be minimal because it said minimum budget 27 million. Okay, not quite. And actually, for the first time, wage budget at 1 million. Not much more than we're on already, though. 75 million? I suppose we've not had the end of season money yet, have we? Oh, we have. Pietro with 1 goal and the other 2 assists. But yeah, there we are. The places go to the league. Still not going to really faff around with the conference. 2 million to be paid out. Yeah, we've got 61 million in the book already. So it may say transfer budget 75 million. I don't want to spend more than 60 just because of this. I know we're going to get money for the Champions League, but we'll try and keep it. We'll try and keep the balance positive. Because don't forget, we do have this bank loan of 17 million inexplicably. I don't know why we did that when we had 17 million in the bank. Weirdly, every time we've done facility upgrades since this point, it keeps saying we've taken out the loan for the facility upgrades, even though it was for the stadium. We've still got 8 million in transfer debt. We don't actually have that much left on future transfer fees. I can't argue with Jon Berg Eriksson there. He hasn't played enough to really be here. 4 starts, 11 subs. Wasn't great in any of them, so he's asked for a loan. He's asked for a loan now at the end of the season. Don't really know why. Could have waited a week at least. Because of course we've still got this FA Cup final against Spurs to bring you. So there's 1 game still yet to play this season. Entirely relevant in terms of qualification purposes, but it's silverware for Exeter or silverware for Spurs, which of course is a topic of much memery. But they did win the Europa League in 2023 in this save, so it's not their first silverware in God knows however long it is. So that particular cloud is no longer hanging over them. Either way, should be an interesting contest. We've won twice, they've won once. That might actually suggest Spurs might balance the books in that regard. Hopefully not. Our first silverware is on the line. I'll see you for that next time out. Ta-ra.